GM, March 7th, 2025. Let's take a look at the crypto market today. Let's see what's going on. So, on the daily chart here, market structure is bearish. The bands are bearish, and price is being held down by the bands. The ribbon is currently in its bullish formation, but price is below the shorter periods. They're beginning to curve down, but they're still in the bullish formation. Slowest trend indicator. Price is held below our descending trend line here. For the bulls, the first key is to get back into the lower side of our sideways range here and break through this line before we can make a run to the highs. Got to make some higher lows. We are here, right here, higher lows, but a proper pullback and a higher low could be in the cards for the bulls, assuming that these lows do hold. Now, we go down to the 4-hour chart here. Let's see what the 4-hour chart says. The bands here are flipping back bullish and bearish and bullish and bearish. That is a consolidation that's happening. Our market structure on the 4-hour is bullish, and our interim structure in the meantime is bearish. Looking at the 4-hour ribbon, it is also bearish, and price is below the ribbon. So on the 4-hour chart, we are neutral, slightly bearish, as we're held down by our resistance above. Now, going down to, let's see here. Let's go down to the 1-hour, see what we see. If you look at the 1-hour, the reason I bring this up is last night at around midnight UTC, just shortly after, David Sachs came out and announced that the U.S. would have a Bitcoin strategic reserve, that they would not be selling any of the Bitcoin that they have acquired over the years. And the market reacted with a dump right away. Now, he also announced that they would have a digital asset stockpile that would consist of any of the altcoins, including stable coins, and that they would not be selling those. And he followed up by saying that they would not be purchasing anymore for the stockpile. Now, he said that right after he announced the strategic reserve and the stockpile. I don't really think that it was noted that he didn't say that he wouldn't buy, that the U.S. government would not buy any more for the reserve. He said they wouldn't buy any more for the stockpile. Now, there's a difference. That makes sense because Bitcoin has the only chance really of a global asset. A altcoin such as Cardano is not going to be a global asset. There is the crypto summit today. He said that there would be favorable news for altcoins. There may be more news coming. We shall see. That is at, I forget what time. Later on this evening anyway. My time. Closing in on UTC time. Midnight. But I believe that's why this reaction happened here. This was a nice trade to be had on the shorter time frames. I think the realization that he was talking about no more buying for the stockpile was what he said, and didn't mention the reserve. I don't necessarily think he means he's going to start dumping into Bitcoin right away, the reserve. He did mention that there would be no cost to the American taxpayer, which does come across as we're not going to buy anything right now, but that's not saying they can't get them from other means. With this is me just speculating with cuts that Doge has been making to services and other things that it's been cutting. It's possible to make a cut there and then put that money into the reserve. I don't know. I'm spitballing. We don't know. Maybe more things will come out with the crypto summit that's happening today. But as of right now, we got to follow what the charts are saying. And the charts are saying we are on the bearish side of neutral. So Ethereum, see what Ethereum's doing. Not nearly as strong of a reaction. Still hanging out near the lows. Still holding on to that 2140 level that's been support for quite a while now. The structure is bearish. The bands are bearish. The ribbon is bearish. Ethereum is bearish. Going down to the 4 hour here. It's going to be more of the same. Bearish, bearish, bearish. 4 hour is trying to make some plays with some flipping of the bands back and forth. It's no longer trending strongly on the 4 hour as price is holding up to support. But the market structure is bullish. Got to realize market structure is more important in a trend than it is in a consolidation, although it does matter. 4 hour does seem to be slowing of the downtrend versus daily. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, nothing but down. There's your key right there. Ethereum's weaker than Bitcoin. Don't hold Ethereum. Ethereum is trash right now. Let's take a look at Solana on the daily charts. We have a neutral ribbon. We have bearish bands, wide, being held down by the bands here. Market structure is bearish as well. And that's what's that. It is definitely on the bearish side of neutral. It is being held up by our support level here in the 105 to 125 area. Still holding on. Price is below our reactive trend lines that we have here in blue and yellow. So for the bulls, these bands need to flatten out and we need to get above these lines here. We had a nice impulsive move over and a quick rejection, showing that it's not ready for those levels yet. Going down to the 4 hour for Solana, bearish ribbon, kind of like Ethereum making plays, not really happening. Held up by support. We have bearish structure, bearish interim structure. So Solana is kind of like Ethereum, where it's definitely on the bearish side of neutral, being held up by support here below. Again, kind of like Ethereum, Solana is definitely weaker than Bitcoin. Its market structure is bullish. The ribbon is bearish. The bands are bearish. It lost its channel that it's been in for the last year. So tried to reclaim, couldn't do it. I'm not saying that it can't, but it's not as strong as Bitcoin. It's got a lot of work to do before Solana can begin to outperform Bitcoin again. So GM to that overall analysis here, holding support, holding the 200 period moving average, holding the weekly 50, trying to hold up, but leaning bearish until we reclaim back up into the 95 level. Right now, that is the important level right here. You'll mark that as the important level, because that is that high. That would involve reclaiming that trend line. GM.